All right, everybody, we are back. It is Tape Don't Lie. Your favorite Raiders podcast are back once again, giving you more draft materials, Draft First Pro Scout. You already know what it is. And make sure you hit the subscribe button. We appreciate all the new listeners we got last time. Got some good feedback from the new listeners that they enjoyed it. So, yeah, keep for all the draft material. Keep going back. We already did offensive line. We did safeties. We did edge. I feel like I'm forgetting one. Defensive line,
defensive tackle, defensive tackle too.
We did the Senior Bowl. We got all types of draft material, so you guys can go back, look through all of it, check it out. If it's your first time coming up here, go ahead, check out all the draft material. You will know we're getting all Raiders fans ready for the draft, and so but make sure you always follow us on Twitter. That's at the Mark John NFL for me, right? The offensive guy, and you got the defensive guy, BD Williams at BD Williams 18. So follow us there on Twitter as well. And like I said, make sure you hit the subscribe button and come back. And that's what Tape Don't Lie. We're always going to be updating it. We're hitting you guys with more stuff, with the draft, and we got free agency coming. So make sure you guys get ready to follow us. All right. So how you doing, BD? How you doing this week, man?
Man, I'm doing great. Man. We're seeing some little moves being made. Offensive line. We already were in the middle of cutting up all this footage for running backs, and then they say they're going to release Gabe Jackson and Richie Incognito. So sorry, guys. We'll save offensive guard, offensive interior for the next episode. All right. We couldn't pivot. All right. I couldn't ask Marcus to be like, hey, I know that you've just been watching literally 20 hours of film. Let's just do offensive line this week. So we got that in store for you guys next week. But this week we're doing the running backs.
Running backs.
Is running back? Tell me, because you watch this offense more than anyone I know.
Yeah.
Is running back a need in free agency or the draft this offseason? Is this something that the Raiders could attack?
Yeah, I think I don't know if it's a need necessarily, but I think it's something that they need to look at, because I think they have to decide if Josh Jacobs goes down, who can take the reins, right? And they got Jalen Richard. They really haven't been using him. You're paying him a lot of money to not use him. I mean, $3.5 million is a lot for a running back right now. And they really don't use him. They might cut him, right? Devin Booker, he's probably not coming back. I don't think so. Maybe. We'll see about that. But you know what I'm saying? Like there's places for running backs to address. And I personally would rather them address it in the draft than try to try to get some running back free agents, unless they can get it cheaper. So, because you never know, because if you go in the draft, right, and Jacobs ends up maybe getting hurt or something like that, and you might have somebody that could actually fill the role that's young, right, and it's fresh, new to the league, right, and you can do that, and you can find somebody there. And if they have that open third down back role, I mean, there's tons of running backs in the draft that fill that these days that are perfect in the size. And I'm gonna go over a couple of those guys that I really love, that I would really enjoy if they really came in this offense, because I think they would be able to be used properly with the way John Gruden uses running backs to actually, that he believes can catch the football. And, there's a couple of running backs in this draft that are really, really good there. So, I mean, Josh Jacobs is the man. I mean, he's not getting replaced. Let's throw that out there. He's the man. They still really like him. They're really high on him. So I'm not saying he's going to get replaced, but they might need an insurance plan for sure.
And here's my philosophy on it. Okay. If you keep on drafting, especially like I know I'm doing the pro scout, but I'm a big proponent of drafting young backs. It doesn't have to be first round. It doesn't have to be day 2, but you could get into day 3, take a back every year or every other year, because we've seen these no-name guys, right? This last year, it was like Mike Davis for Carolina. It was the Jacksonville guy, right?
James Robinson.
Man, he was balling this year. And what is he, like a late round draft pick or undrafted free agent, something like that? Just keep on stacking the stable.
Division 2.
With young backs. I'm a big proponent of it. And really, it puts you in a good situation, because yes, if Josh Jacobs goes down, now the offense doesn't need to stall because you got a young back who's got some fresh legs. And B, let's just say Josh Jacobs takes a big step forward this year, and then maybe another step forward the following year. He gets the free agency, and we're talking about having to pay a back in today's NFL, a bunch of money, like a $10 million contract. If you have a guy waiting in the wings, you could say, hey, maybe we can just let Josh Jacobs go.
Yep.
And just because, and I know a lot of people are going to get on me, but just playing the field here, the probability that a second contract running back matches his first contract production is very rare. Okay. So you have at least that option to mull over if you have a young back who's waiting in the wings. Whereas right now, that's not an option for the Raiders. Yeah. So I definitely think even if it's just like one of the later rounds, drafting a back is always a good strategy. So let's just take it away, man. Why don't you take us through some of these young backs who you think could fit with the Raiders, depending on their role.
Okay, let's go ahead and get into it. All right. So, the Raiders are an outside zone team, first of all, right? So, they're outside zone all the time. So, not all the time, but, split zone, outside zone. Did a lot of more power this year, but they're outside zone team. So, we're going to start with the zone backs. We're going to start with my boy, Jermar Jefferson, Oregon State, 5'10", 216 pounds.
Yeah.
This guy is a game breaker, right? It's this dude right here. Watch. This outside zone. Great vision. He has awesome vision, right? So he's perfect. He reads outside zone perfectly. So this is a guy that could come in and they don't have to change the system like they did last year. They don't have to go power like they had at Devin Booker. They could just keep running outside zone, split zone, keep the zone game going, right? And look at this vision, right? Where could he go? Where is he going? I don't know, but he finds it. He finds that gap and then he hits it, right? So that's what I'm saying. This dude is a game breaker. And, he's the type of guy that you could just give him the ball 8 times and he might have a 60-yard run. That's the kind of guy, Jermar Jefferson, but he's just not a volume back to me. I think he doesn't break a lot of tackles in open field. You see, it's just like, this is just too easy for me. I don't know. I just feel like he should be able to run through that. He's a big guy. He's 216 pounds. Like, you shouldn't be able to tackle that easy, and you see that a lot on tape for him. Another guy that's a great zone back is Chuba Hubbard, man. It might be Chuba Hubbard. I always get his name wrong, but this dude is a great zone back. Dude. Like, he reads outside zone so well. Here he is just taking it to the house. He's got game breaking speed too. So this is another guy that could come in and just have a couple carries and break it out, but they don't have to change it because, they're dropping all these linemen. And I think they're trying to go back to what Josh Jacobs does well, which is outside zone. You see here, he's got the safety creeping up, right? But he finds the hole, great vision. Right, turns it into a 20-yard run. Right, that's Chuba Hubbard right there, bro. He's just really baller. He's a great blocker too. Right, just boom, taking dudes out. But of course, with him, the one thing that you're missing is you're not getting tough yards from him. You can kind of see, kind of gets buried in here, but he has a little vision. This is like 3rd and 1. Right, he could just find a little crease, get extra little yards. That's not him. You're never going to see that from Hubbard, but he's a great back. This is my sleeper guy right here, dude. This dude's tape was pretty good. I'm really high on him than I think a lot of people are. Khalil Herbert, 5'9", 212 from Virginia Tech, man. Went from Kansas. He's a transfer. He came into Virginia Tech and balled 1,100 yards. Look at that great outside zone. Great vision, right? He's got game breaking speed too. So there's some backs here that you can get really late day 3, maybe late early day 3, late day 2. This is great. This outside zone's getting beat up. He shows a little wiggle there, right? Makes it, finds a way to get like 5 or 6 yards.
What?
Yeah. He's pretty special back, dog. He's got some skills, and this one. Look at how quick he cuts upfield. Yeah, Khalil Herbert, man. That is somebody like if the Raiders drafted like day 3, I would be super excited about. He could come in and maybe if Josh Jacobs went down, take the reins. And same thing with Trey Sermon. Trey Sermon actually came from a power system, so he had to adjust to the zone. So this is split zone, right? So it took him a little while. But you can see here against Clemson, this is when he balled out. He started to feel it, right? He started to feel it at the end of the year, Northwestern, all those games. It took him a little while to adjust to the outside zone and, what his reads and his keys were. But he started to break it down, and I think he has a lot of potential in his own game. But he has great hands, right? He's pretty good in the passing game coming from Oklahoma, and he's just a big back. But I really like Trey Sermon. So there's some really a lot of good backs, man, that they can get. in the zone run game, right? That can keep it going for them. And then we get to the versatile backs. These guys are my guys, right? These are my backs, right? We got Michael Carter, bro. Like I am a Michael Carter fan. I'd be posting Michael Carter all day. I really could post Michael Carter clips all day on Twitter. I could do like a 30-minute thread. It is crazy, his clips. So here's him running outside zone. Look at his vision. Look at just finding just little creases, and he just takes to the house, right? He ran 300 yards against Miami. 300 yards. look at this like power run, little power flipping. He's just incredible with the ball in his hands, right? Look at him, look at this vision, right? Setting up the block, cut back, right? He's getting another tough 5 or 6 yards. And then it's the hands too, man. He's so great in the passing game. Look at him finding the zone. Like Derek Carr would love this guy. Finding in the zone, right? Tough catch, getting hit. You'll see it from the backside. Watch how he finds this zone, dog. Like, right? Splits it up, makes room for the quarterback, tough catch. And then here he is, one-on-one with the linebacker. He doesn't even get the ball here, but just look at how he shakes this dude. Just so much. That's the first down if he was the target. So Michael Carter is probably one of my favorite backs in the draft. I'm really, really high on him. If he was bigger, it wouldn't be a big deal. He'd be running back one. 191, 5'11", Kenneth Gainwell is another guy who has probably the best jump cuts you might see in this draft. Like, this is just nasty. I don't know how he jump cut like that and accelerated, but his touchdown. Right here, we got another one. Watch this jump cut, slow motion, like and then just forward, right, and just getting extra yards. He's only 191 pounds, but what's special about him is him in the passing game. I mean, that's what really has him stand out. He has natural hands. He has wide receiver hands. He runs wide receiver routes. You see him get open right here, right? Then yak ability too. So that's what I'm saying. So in offense, like the Raiders run where they feature running backs in the passing game, those two backs are guys they can get day two that I think could really help. And then we got the insurance plan that if Josh Jacobs and they want to get greedy and, this guy might fall, you never know with running backs, 5'10", 215 pounds, Javonte Williams. And I want you guys to prepare yourself for some of this tape.
The man. Oh my goodness.
Watch this run, dog. I really want to just wait. Watch this. Boom. It's just
stupid. Yeah.
It's stupid. Then he did the spin. Right. And it's tape like this all day, guys. It's just incredible. Just watch this one. Boom. He's still moving, still full speed. That dude, it's crazy, man. And the only thing I would say about Williams, though, is he just offer anything in the passing game. It's not really a good route. I mean, it ends up being a touchdown here, but the route itself, I'm back was really like he doesn't offer anything in the passing game, really. Man, all I needed was 2 clips. I really didn't need to show that. Why? I mean, that's probably my running back one is Javonte Williams. I would say,
And explain this, because everyone who might be casually watching the draft, and obviously everyone knows about Najee Harris, everyone knows about Travis Etienne. Why is Javonte Williams RB1? And not just you saying that's a possibility, but a lot of people are saying this that cover the draft extensively. Why is that?
I think he's the best pure back in this draft. I think like a running back standpoint, yes. Running back with like vision and breaking tackles, making guys miss in the open field not with agility and just not being a power back. Like, it really reminds me of Josh Jacobs. Right. We talk about Josh Jacobs a lot. Yeah. I mean, that's exactly who he reminds me of is Josh Jacobs. I mein, that's what Josh Jacobs do. Josh Jacobs can beat you with wiggle. He can run you over, right? He's good burst to the line, right? I mean, if you watch Josh Jacobs in college, it kind of reminds you of Javonte Williams' tape, right? And, Josh Jacobs, he came in on the scene and he just busted out. And it's just somebody like at the rate, if he fell, because I don't think any of these running backs are going to go as high as people think. I don't think so, because none of them are really like, I mean, maybe Etienne, maybe somebody gets greedy with Etienne because he's so fast, right? But I think that some of these guys might fall because Harris isn't fast either. He kind of reminds me of Kareem Hunt. Like, he's kind of like Kareem Hunt type of guy where he can catch the football, but he can catch, right? He can catch, but I don't think because if you draft him, you want to feature him. That's the right. That's the thing too. But that's kind of might be the thing with Javonte Williams too. If you draft him, you might want to feature him, but it just depends on what you're looking at. Because BD, I think you made a great point. I really didn't even think about that too much. Is that the contract with Jacobs? right? We're in year 3. He's a running back. He's been hurt a lot. And if they decide to, I mean, if they want to run the football, I guess it I'm going to go on a side note here. It comes down to two things here. The Raiders have been a run-first football team for the past, since Gruden has been here, right? And they ran the ball 44% of the time last year, right? And that's really, really high in the NFL. Let's just say that the two Super Bowl teams, they threw the ball 60%. Let's just say it. So that's kind of shows you how much they're running the ball in today's NFL. They're a run-first football team. If they want to run the football like he wants to, then they need to have some good running backs. They got to pick a system they want to run to. They got to get those linemen in here to run that system. That's why I think there might be cutting some of these guys, because Gabe Jackson's not a zone guy, and you got a zone back. Yeah, Josh Jacobs is his own back. I mean, it's pretty. I mean, he's awesome at outside zone. It's pretty undeniable, right? That he's pretty awesome in outside zone or inside zone, split zone. I mean, he's pretty zone. The zone run game, he's pretty tremendous, right? And they didn't have the linemen last year to really run that. So they had Denzel Good in there. Gabe Jackson never fit. I mean, that's why I hated Todd Downing, because I don't know what he was thinking, and so they have to decide that, and I think that's what they're thinking maybe a little bit, is that they have to go to these outside zone and more athletic backs, and they have to build off that if they're going to run the football. But if they decide they want to be pass first, then they have to decide that too. I think they have decided identity, right? They have decided identity at this point. But, I'd rather them be pass first, because I think that's how you win more in today's NFL. If you want to win long term, and if they really believe in Derek Carr like they say they do, I think it's time. But, if he wants to run the football, then they need more running backs, and they need zone linemen for sure.
Right. So I think, first of all, that just showed you. We didn't even show you Travis Etienne. We didn't even show you Najee Harris, right? Marcus showed us he went deep into the bag there. There's good running backs to be had at all stages of the draft. And I think that there's some good backs in free agency too. So, we'll go over that in a little bit. But I think it's always, if you're a running back needy, I think you can't really go wrong in the offseason. You can get a young guy. You can get a free agent. There's always going to be running back free agents. But yeah, I'm always one of the proponents. Get a young back, draft a young back every other year, just to keep the tires, see what happens. And yeah, like that, Javonte Williams, the contact balance is really spectacular. I'm not going to say like some of the best I've ever seen, but it's probably up there. He is a special runner. And those pure runners, the only reason why the Raiders, like if this was 2005, Javonte Williams, that's a first round pick probably.
Yeah.
But it's 2020, and your chops in the passing game are almost as important or more important, which is why we saw a guy like Clyde Edwards-Helaire get drafted, in the first round, right, this last year. Not saying Clyde Edwards-Helaire isn't a good runner, okay, but he's really good when it comes to catching the ball out of the backfield, right? So he got drafted in the first round. So you could see a guy like Javonte Williams get drafted later, in a 2021 draft than maybe 10, 15 years ago. So I do think that that's an eye to keep, someone to keep your eye on. I like the Josh Jacobs comp for Javonte Williams. But I also like Howard, who, what I'm talking about? The Bears running back.
Yeah, Josh Howard, yeah.
Is that his name? What? It's something.
But
I know you're
talking about Howard. I can't think of his name right now.
I like that comp, because he's a guy. He's a guy who he doesn't really offer much in the passing game, right? But he's always going to be a really good runner, and I think that as the NFL gets lighter and lighter and lighter on defense, they said Darius Leonard played linebacker at 215 pounds this last year, right? You got guys like Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, JOK, coming out. He's like a 215-pound linebacker. maybe you get some of these power backs who can really punish guys on the second level and play some, money ball approach, kind of like what Tennessee does, with Derrick Henry. So I think always having a young back, I think is really good.
Yeah. It's Jordan Howard. I just looked it up.
Jordan Howard. Yeah. Jordan Howard. Yeah, but I'm a fan of his, and he doesn't offer anything in the pass game. But shoot, I'll take that running ability. Like, I don't care about that.
Jordan Howard is a great in the red zone. I think, like,
right.
A couple of years ago, inside the 5, he had like 4 carries, like 5 carries and 4 touchdowns. So
yeah,
there's an art to that too. But yeah, man. But that's what I'm saying. If they want to run the football, like it seems like Jon Gruden does the past couple of years, and to keep being a good run team, they're gonna need some fresh backs that are good. Right. They're gonna need 2 of them. You're gonna need, if you want to be, unless you have Derrick Henry, you're gonna have to be Chubb and Kareem Hunt. You know what I mean? If you want to run the football like they do.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. You got to have a real dynamic number 2. And look at the Browns. Like they made the postseason being a run first offense. Nick Chubb, he was injured for how many games? And they didn't miss a beat because Kareem Hunt is pretty darn good back in the NFL, right? Especially on a team that really wants to run the ball, so there you go. That's a dynamic 1-2 punch. So I definitely think, I'm with you. If the Raiders continue, because Derek Carr, he's not going to throw unless something crazy happens this offseason. He's not going to throw more than 520 times, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know. I just want to see it, BD. I want to see him throw 580 times. I want to see it.
You want to see him throw 600 times? I know.
His film was good this year. I'm like, okay, you got the good film. The film is ready. I feel like you're ready. Let's go 580. Let's do it. Let's just air it out. Like, I mean, that's really how I feel about how this should go this offseason, because everything says that they should do that. And the last 2 games, they did do that, and they kept Jacobs fresh, and he averaged like 5 yards a carry. So I think that,
you got to lighten the box a little bit. And also, so first of all, you said it to our listeners, to our audience. You heard it here first. Marcus wants to let Carr cook. Okay. You heard it. But let's be honest. That's not what Jon Gruden likes to do.
I know.
It's it would be a low chance that Carr has to throw the ball 580 times. Gruden really wants a ball control oriented offense. So yeah, like the back does matter. And if Josh Jacobs goes down again, like what are you going to do here? So I just think that it gives Gruden a lot more of leeway. I mean, look what the 49ers have been doing.
Yeah.
The difference, I mean, it's a similar philosophy because these are both ball control oriented offenses, right? There's a lot more modern schematic tweaks that the 49ers run, a lot more volume in their run game. It's not just outside zone all the time, Yeah. And then they also have like 3 or 4 backs. Like, it doesn't matter who's back there for the Niners. Someone's going to rush for 100 yards, So it's definitely a different personnel approach, even though it's the same kind of standard philosophy of running the ball, or a similar philosophy of running the ball. The Niners have a much different approach to their personnel, their running backfield, having 4 guys who can do it. So I'm with you, man. If the Raiders want to keep on running the ball and be a run first offense, you got to have more than just Josh Jacobs, and
but we saw what happened with Devin Booker with the Jets game, and that's what I'm talking about. Josh Jacobs goes down, and Devin Booker he can't do it, right? And you need somebody if you want to run this offense the same way. You need somebody that's young. I mean, because Khalil Herbert, man, I feel like that he could be fine. Like he would come and do well, And I feel like he's going to do well wherever he goes as a NFL running back. I think he's going to be a good back. And he might not be the best back in the league, but he's going to be a good back in the NFL. And, if the Raiders get somebody like that day 3, like round 4 or 5, man, I think it'd be good for sure.
For sure. All right, so let's transition over to free agent running backs, okay? Now, again, Josh Jacobs, he's the man, right? We're not saying that he's not. But in the event that he goes down, having a lead back, okay, who can shoulder the load, here is definitely going to be something that the Raiders need to look at, not for an entire 16-game schedule. But this back had a first down every 0.22 carries. Okay. Jamaal Williams, he's definitely going to be on his way out. Aaron Jones is getting franchise tagged. AJ Dillon showed some stuff. What I really like about Jamaal Williams, his pass protection was like fantastic. Okay. We're breaking down pass protection reps. It is what it is. It's the Tape Don't Lie podcast. We get into it. Okay. Watch this one right here. Okay. He steps inside. He realizes that he's got a free rusher. Okay. There's nothing spectacular about the physicality of this block, but it's the mental processing to keep your quarterback clean. That's something that you need to do as a back in the NFL. Okay. Now, running the ball, I think he could be more efficient. I think that he could have better vision at times, but one thing you're never going to leave on the table with Jamaal Williams is the physicality that he runs with. He runs with a lot of violence. He's always turning his feet. He's always trying to get extra yards. I really appreciate, the physicality that he runs with. Okay. And, watch him here. He wants to get north and south, and he wants to finish with violence. Okay. This next back had a first down carry every 4 carries. Okay. Mark Ingram, we all know the writing's on the wall for Mark Ingram. It's a wrap for him, okay? Like, they are going in another direction in Baltimore. By the way, finding a pass protection clip for Mark Ingram in Baltimore's offense was like finding a needle in a haystack, guys. But we know he's a veteran. He can do that, but what he's best at is running down the middle of a defense, okay? This guy is a back with great vision, great efficient footwork. This is a great example. Most young backs are going to bounce this power play. We've seen Josh Jacobs do that in the past, but Mark Ingram, he trusts that it's there. He's going to hit the hole how it's designed in a power gap scheme. This is another example of that. Oh, and he can also scoot if he gets into the open field. He's not that old that he can't do that, So the guy does have some burst left in him. I think the Raiders could do worse, and especially if we're just talking about 2 or 3 games. Now, this might come as a surprise. He had a first down carry almost every 3 carries. Carlos Hyde over the past 3 seasons. Carlos Hyde has been an absolute first down magnet. By far the best rate of any running back in this free agent class at gaining first downs. It doesn't matter inside, outside. He has a nose for it. And the reason why Carlos Hyde does such a great job is that he's got great footwork and great vision, okay? Even in the open field, making guys miss. This is an incredible example to me, and just really showcases the type of vision and anticipation he has. Anyone could hit that hole, but knowing before you even get through the hole that you got to make a move on the second level defender, okay, and make Budda Baker, break his angle like that, that just kind of shows you. And here's another example. The gap is filling. He condenses his footwork down, cuts back, finishes into the end zone. So this is all over his film, and this is why he's a really good back as far as running the ball. Now, change your pace backs, okay? This guy had 7th most 20-yard rushes amongst all running backs in 2020. Phillip Lindsay, okay? Broncos slapped him with the original round tender, which just means, because he's an undrafted free agent, that they have the power to match any offer that he gets in the in the offseason. So it wouldn't be killer for the Raiders to go ahead and make him an offer. All right. And as far as explosive backs go, you got the power, you got the thunder with Josh Jacobs, and then you have another guy, if Phillip Lindsay joins him in the backfield, who can really make defenses change the way that they approach the ball carrier, break their angles. He has great speed. He's not the most efficient back, but as far as like getting 5-6 carries a game, and maybe he breaks one every couple games. Now, this guy had a first down reception on 40% of his catches the last 6 seasons. You did not read that wrong. James White is an elite pass catcher at the running back position. Here he is, split out wide. Okay, running wide receiver routes. Here we go. We're going to get another one of him. He's going into the slot right here. He gets some man coverage from the linebacker. He's going to eat that up every single time. Nifty move for a first down there. And then, you want to get him involved in the screen game? It doesn't really matter with James White. Your entire playbook, passing to the running back out of the backfield, is completely open if you got a guy like James White in the backfield. Here he is. He's picking up the blitz. Oh, the guy's not blitzing. So let me just go make a fool out of Jerome Baker, one of the best linebackers in the NFL. Look how he gets this guy stacked. Like, that's a wide receiver skill. James White is a wide receiver who plays running back. And this is another great example too, of him just finding the open space, on an off-schedule play. Again, he's been a favorite in the Patriots, but James White could be on the move. Now, I'm cheating on this last one. Theo Riddick. Okay. Theo Riddick had a great game, a very efficient game for the Raiders. Look at him. He just makes that linebacker disappear. He's a very skilled running back, catching the ball out of the backfield, and he would come cheaper than Jalen Richard. And I don't think that there is any drop off between these two guys play, to be quite honest with you. You're going to see Theo Riddick here again, beats that guy outside, but when the linebacker over pursues, whoop, whoop. Oh man, I love this. Okay. And he's always going to finish hard, which is something that maybe a James White won't finish quite as hard as Theo Riddick does. Again, great route to break that guy's ankles there. And again, finishing hard. The other thing, okay, you got some tackles who are having issues. Having Theo Riddick in here, okay, to chip these guys. He's one of the best pass protectors. This is not an exaggeration. Theo Riddick is one of the best pass protecting backs in football. Okay. He's going to help guys out by chipping all day long. All right. So yeah, I mean, there you have it. You got a few different flavors, different styles of running backs in the in free agency. I left Kenyon Drake out. I don't really think that he's going to hit the open market. I left Todd Gurley out. Both those guys had really good percentage of carries that resulted in a first down, comparable to Mark Ingram. 1 every 4 carries went for a first down for Kenyon Drake and Todd Gurley as well. Todd Gurley, there's a lot of injury history there. Incredible amount of carries over the last 3 seasons. So I don't think that really makes sense to bring in a back with that much tread on his tires. And I really don't think that Kenyon Drake is going to hit the open market like they're going to do. They're going to do something to keep him in Arizona, I'm guessing. So that's why I chose the backs that I did. And also with James White, he's been, an institution in New England, right? It would be weird to see him leave, but his average depth of target for catches, for receptions, dropped from 3 yards downfield to behind the line of scrimmage this last year with Cam Newton and Brian Hoyer throwing to him. I just don't think that now that they have a new quarterback situation, it might not make sense to keep him with all these guys. They got Sonny Michel and Damian Harris and Rex Burkhead, right? So it could be that they just, take it on the chin and let James White walk. And I do think that, he's a back who completely opens up everything you could do in the passing game with backs. The reason why he's not considered amongst like the Alvin Kamaras and the Christian McCaffreys, he doesn't have their incredible athleticism and he does not run the ball very well.
Nope.
Right. So he's purely a pass catching back, right? Which is fine, especially when you have a guy like Jalen Richard making $3.5 million and he's just solid at that. You can maybe pay James White comparable money to be and to do his thing, and he's one of the best pass catching backs in the NFL, and for my money. So that's the reason why I added James White in there, even though it would be weird to see him not play for the Patriots.
Yeah, I really like Theo Riddick. I think that would probably be the cheaper option and the better option because obviously at the end of the year, and he blocks like a left tackle, which I think is crazy. I think the way he blocks the Jets game, bro,
incredible blocker. Yeah, I know.
The Jets game, he has some blocks, man. He looks like a left tackle sometimes, but I really like Theo Riddick. I really think they should definitely try to bring him back. In my opinion, I think that he started to prove his worth, especially in Week 17. I really like that one. I like most of the backs you featured. Like Mark Ingram. I think that's a good second back that to have. Jamaal Williams is very interesting. I didn't really think about Jamaal Williams. That was super interesting. He's somebody that could do it. That could be good in the red zone. I will say, only reason I would think about Todd Gurley is red zone.
Red zone.
because that dude just scores touchdowns like crazy in the red zone. I don't know what it is, especially inside the 10. Like he's
automatic. Yeah,
he's like automatic, even when he's hurt. I mean, he had like 10 touchdowns last year, and he didn't even have a good year. And he's like 10 touchdowns. That's like 10 touchdowns is a bad year for Todd Gurley. I mean, like so. He could come in and he could help that way. I mean, you don't want him carrying the ball that much, but I mean, if he's the feature back, you're in trouble. But if he could come in and get some red zone carries, get some carries inside the 5 instead of the 10, steal some touchdowns, because John Gruden wants to run the ball down inside the 5, and so if we can get Todd Gurley in there and get some touchdowns going, then we're excited about that. So that's what I would say about Todd Gurley. But
Todd Gurley. Carlos Hyde has always been one of my favorite running backs. It's just a pure runner. Again, he doesn't offer much in the pass game, like at all. Okay, it is what it is. It's fine. He would just be there to run the ball on first and second down anyways. So yeah, Todd Gurley, Carlos Hyde, Mark Ingram. Frank Gore is also a free agent. Any of these guys, add them to the running back room. Josh Jacobs could soak up some of the things that they've done, not just some of the efficiency and some of the vision that they have on gap power schemes that Josh Jacobs kind of struggles in, but also just keeping yourself healthy. Like who better to learn from than Todd Gurley or Frank Gore, how to keep yourself healthy. Even Mark Ingram, right? Yeah. So these guys have been successful late in their career. I think adding one of those guys as far as like the 1-2 punch would definitely help Josh Jacobs stay fresh, and B, he can learn from those veterans. So I'm a proponent of that for sure.
Yeah. I mean, but it all goes back to what they want their identity to be, and if they want to run the ball, they gotta add running backs. They need to get more diverse there for sure, and get more talent there.
Yeah. One thing I don't want to Devontae Booker, we liked him. He did all right this last year, and he had some really good games against teams who probably weren't great stopping the run. Okay.
Yeah.
But he has played in the AFC West for basically his entire career now. I wouldn't be upset if they kept Devontae Booker, but I would want to see because Devontae Booker is also free agent and I didn't give him any love. So sorry about that, Book. But I would want to see if they kept Devontae Booker, I would want to see a guy who, has some explosiveness, like a Khalil Herbert or something like that, who could take a carry to the house any given time. Yeah. That kind of changes the way I think defenses play you when you have a threat like that in the backfield. But one thing is that should be interesting to know. Okay. So all these guys, I checked the rate that they made a first down on their attempts. Okay. Throughout the last 3 years. And I told you Carlos Hyde had the highest of all the guys that I checked. Okay. Yeah. Almost every 3 carries. Josh Jacobs had the lowest of all the Raiders running backs. Okay. Next highest was Jalen Richard. And actually higher over the last 3 years was Devontae Booker in terms of first down carries per attempt. So, I think Booker is, especially because they started running some gap power schemes with him, I think that he is a viable option there as a number 2 back in a scheme like that. Yeah. But yeah, they want to run zone, and I'm not sure he's as efficient as he is in those concepts. You correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah. They tried it with the Jets. It didn't work.
Right.
Because he would come in and they would run gap schemes and he would do well. When Jacobs would run zone schemes, and he would come in and they would run gap schemes and he would do really well. But when they tried to give him the zone game, they gave him the whole run game. It didn't work. So that's why I try to feature some zone backs in college. Because like, come on, guys, if you have a backup that can't run your main system, that's not good. So they have to think about that too.
Think about this, like way back in the day. I'm talking about Priest Holmes, Larry Johnson days. Okay, when that was a 1-2 punch, Priest Holmes would be, the zone schemes. Larry Johnson would run the whams and the counters and, like those power and gap schemes. Think about Willie Parker, Jerome Bettis. Yeah. Guys with kind of, different styles, but everyone thinks, oh, so why can't you do that? This isn't Madden. You can't just call a play. You got linemen in there who are good at one thing, probably. And asking linemen now to execute at an NFL caliber level, gap schemes, zone schemes, that's a big ask. Okay. Not every team can do that. All right.
Yeah.
49ers, they have some incredible coaching over there. But most teams, you got to kind of stick with one thing or the other. It's a big, big ask, especially with the musical chairs the Raiders were playing last year on the offensive line. It's different guards, it's different tackles, all this stuff. Sticking to one kind of scheme, building off of that, creating, a few different wrinkles within that scheme. That's going to be the best way for most teams to get the job done running the football. So yeah, you can't just start flip-flopping, all the time unless you have a whole bunch of all-pro offensive linemen. So
yeah. All right. Let's transition and get into it. Like, what did you think about the cuts this week? The cut Gabe Jackson, cut Richie Incognito. What'd you think? I know Incognito might come back, but
this is a money game here. The salary cap is down, and is Gabe Jackson a quality NFL starter? Sure. Is Gabe Jackson worth like what, $9-10 million a year? When we're talking about the salary cap being as far down as it is, that's what the problem is here. In a perfect world, they would want to keep Gabe Jackson, but I think that the price tag for it, and you know what? They 100% with the Gabe Jackson were like, hey, let's restructure, and Gabe Jackson was like, hell no. You're gonna have to cut me, right? So like, why would you take less money?
Yeah.
So like, it's just part of the money game. And same with Incognito. And I do think that there is a chance Incognito just comes back on a better deal.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people are going, oh, they cut Gabe Jackson, they cut Incognito. Who's gonna play guard? There's still a good chance that Incognito comes back. He's like almost 40 years old. How many teams are going to say, yes, we want Incognito?
Yeah.
They're going to, because they're not only are you just signing the player, but there's a lot of homework and baggage that comes with the Incognito. The Raiders have already done all their homework on it. Some teams might not be willing to risk that. So yeah, I think that there's still a good chance. And then you tell us, is John Simpson ready to start? What do you think?
I mean, what John Simpson are we going to get? I mean, if we get the week 17 John Simpson, then yeah, of course he's ready to start. I feel like he's really, every big run that Josh Jacobs had that week was behind John Simpson. So, and he was great in pass protection as well. So he had played a really, really great game. He was the best lineman on week 17. He was the best lineman of the week. But week 2 and week 3, he looked awful. So,
yeah.
So it's kind of like, who are we to get? I mean, did he just get better over the year? Maybe it was a better matchup for him, a better defensive line matchup. Maybe that's it.
Yeah, right. Right. And something I'll say too is like, when you told me that week 17 was his best game, right? Immediately I was like, okay, so they're banking on John Simpson here. Like that's what it is. Raider Nation. A lot of people are saying John Simpson season. Yeah, I think so. I think that is because, like, is Gabe Jackson like, is he playing at like a Pro Bowl caliber level? No. So they were able to make it work with John Simpson coming in and playing, however many games, however many snaps he played. I know he probably only started like maybe like 1 or 2 games, but he played more than that. I think the fact that they were able to get it done, protecting Derek Carr for the most part, with that patchwork offensive line, they're like, shoot, we'll just spend less money on this next year and let's see if we can make it gel in the run game. But it's one of these sacrifices that they got to make because the salary cap issue, with the salary cap being down, it's just one of the sacrifices they got to make.
Yeah. And, and to be fair to Gabe Jackson, I'll be very fair here. When he was drafted to be a gap guard. Yeah. That's what he was drafted to be. Reggie McKenzie. That's why he got Kalechi. That's why they had all those big boys, Donald Penn. They're a huge offensive line, right? Because they were a gap offensive line, right? And then for the past 4 seasons, so Gabe Jackson's really been playing, and much power to him. But to me, I think he's been pretty decent at it. But he could probably go to a gap soon, and he might be a Pro Bowler. Right? He might be. But because I would say this year, when they did run gap schemes, he was better, like pulling. Right. They used to get out and do those pin pull sweeps and stuff like that. And he used to get out of space that way, but just moving laterally and doing the zone schemes, it just wasn't him. It's just not what he can do. And so he's really been out of position. I mean, that's probably why, John Feliciano put that tweet out. I mean, I'm sure he probably did want to get out because he's not a zone guard. Right. So, it's funny, and that's what happens when you change philosophies and you change things. You still have a really good guard. You just want to make him that way, and that might be part of the reason why they cut him. To me, I think too, because I think they want to add more They want to get an athletic guard.
Yeah,
right. And they want to get because they think they got Trent Brown as athletic tackle. They got Rodney Hudson who's an athletic center. They got Colt Miller who's an athletic tackle. They got John Simpson who's pretty athletic for his size, right? And then Denzel Good is not very athletic. But if they could add a guard that's super athletic, they probably feel like they could get 1,400 yards from Jacobs. That's what I think.
And on the flip side, not trying to beat a dead horse or anything, but in the event that Incognito does come back, I sat down and I poured through probably like 3 seasons of film, prior to him coming to the Raiders, and pulling, he was exceptional pulling. But he was actually much better as a zone blocker than he was as like a block down gap power scheme guy. Yeah. So that was something that I was really impressed with Incognito, because everyone goes, oh, he's like, a bulldog. He's a bulldozer. No, he's actually a zone blocker. Right. Yeah. That's what his best tape was for me, aside from pulling, because he was a fantastic puller. But yeah, I think that his zone blocking was one of the strengths of his game. So if he does come back, you got John Simpson, you got Richie Incognito, and I don't think that say John Simpson and Richie Incognito are the guards, okay, or John Simpson and a free agent guard or something like that. Yeah, like, is the offensive line going to be that much worse than it was? No. It was the 24th ranked offensive line last year. Like, come on,
it really isn't. I mean, as long as Trent Brown comes and he's healthy, and they have Colt Miller, they have Rodney Hudson, I think they'll be good, right? And they could fill patches in between those other 2 spots, right? Yeah. But it just depends on where they go. It's like I'm saying. So if they want an athletic guard, do they take AVT if he's there at 17? Do they take him? And then if they take him, then they're really running outside. So
AVT is a guard or a tackle?
He's both.
Okay. I see.
He's both. He played tackle this year.
Oh, okay. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. Let's save that content for next week, or you know what I'm saying, if we end up doing that. But yeah, guys. You got anything else to talk about, Marcus?
No. I think we're good, man. Nothing else exciting happened.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. Yeah, I think that's about it. Okay, yeah. So, Raider Nation, stay tuned. Tape Don't Lie podcast. We're going to be giving you this draft content, this off-season potential moves that can be made, free agency in the draft. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit that little bell that lets you know next time we post a video. Follow myself at BD Williams 18. I am the Pro Scout. Follow Marcus at the Mark John NFL. He is the draft scout, the moneymaker in this operation. Okay, as always, guys, stay cool. Peace out.